hurts so much.
Hang in there. We're with you.
I can't.
Lieutenant Zoe Huxley ran into fire, and the galaxy had to rewrite its definition of humanity. HFY. Lieutenant Zoe Huxley had exactly 3 thoughts when the coolant line ruptured. 1. This was supposed to be a routine drill. 2. Routine drills do not involve plasma fires hot enough to melt bulkhead plating. 3. This was going to ruin her week. Orbital Platform Helix-9 wasn't prestigious. It was where the Galactic Union sent species they weren't sure about yet. Humanity had been in the Union for 6 months. Official classification: Fragility Tier 3. Translation: Soft, Breakable, Probationary. Zoe's job: supervise 3 alien cadets through a combat simulation. Hicks Moth, Quilsian. Insectoid, built like a tank with opinions about efficiency. Culpix, also Quilsian. Quieter, Deadlier. Lumi, Andari. Bulged. Amphibian. Regenerative, optimistic in a way that suggested poor life choices. The simulation glitched. A practice grenade triggered a real coolant cascade. Then came the hiss, then the fire, then the alarms. A containment in 90 seconds, the station AI announced. Through the observation window, Zoe saw smoke swallow the chamber. 3 heat signatures, not moving. Request emergency extraction. She snapped into her calm. A negative. Containment cannot be delayed. Remains will be retrieved post-purge. Remains. Zoe looked at the empty observation deck. Empty observation. Everyone else had evacuated. Smart, logical. Union protocol optimized survival percentages. Zoe grabbed her environmental suit. She had never been accused of being optimal. The heat hit like a wall when she forced the hatch open. Her HUD exploded with warnings. Toxic atmosphere. Structural instability. Oxygen count down. She ignored all of it. Hicks Moth first. 200 kilos of armored insectoid unconscious weight. She dragged him centimeter by centimeter through smoke thick as ink, dumped him outside, went back in. Culpix next. Pinned under wreckage. Freed. Dragged. Oxygen at 28%. She could leave now. 2 out of 3. Statistically heroic. Instead, she turned back. Lumi was buried under fallen bulkhead plating. 50% oxygen. 40. 39. The metal wouldn't budge. Zoe braced her back against a support beam, got her boots under the edge, and pushed. Not because it was smart, not because it was survivable, because Lumi mattered. The plating shifted. She hauled the Andari over her shoulder and ran. 10 seconds to containment. Her vision tunneled. Oxygen 8%. She hit the hatch just as the bulkhead slammed shut behind her. Then everything went black. All 3 cadets survived. So did she. The security footage hit the galactic network within hours. By the end of the week, it had over 100 billion views. Across the Union, species watched a fragile Tier 3 human drag higher-tier organisms through literal fire. The Quilsian Hive Council issued a statement, a value reassessment required. For them, that was monumental. The Andari debated the concept of sacrifice for the first time in recorded history. The Fentry strategist Shimlako filed a report that would circulate through Union policy chambers for years. Oye, species that does not calculate acceptable losses cannot be strategically predicted. Humanity was no longer classified as merely fragile. They were reclassified. Tier uncertain. 3 weeks later, Zoe stood before the Union Council on Nexus. 1. 600 representatives. Vaulted ceilings. Starfields projected across the walls. History watching. You violated protocol, a Quilsian counselor stated. Yes, counselor stated. Yes, counselor. You acted illogically. Yes, counselor. I explained. Zoe straightened in her dress uniform. They were my responsibility. Leaving wasn't an option. A ripple moved through the chamber. That is not calculation, an Andari counselor said softly. That is conviction. Maybe, Zoe replied. But that's how humans work. Hicks Moth stepped forward. She violated protocol, he said. She acted irrationally. But she returned for us, Culpix added. Other species calculate survival. Humans calculate worth. Luma's voice trembled. She came back because we mattered. Silence filled the chamber. Then, one by one, 600 representatives performed their species' highest gesture of respect. The vote passed. Lieutenant Zoe Huxley was inscribed into the Union Hero Archives, first human ever recorded. The entry concluded with a line that would echo across Union history. Humanity defines itself not by what it can endure, by what it refuses to abandon. Later, alone in her quarters, Zoe reread the archive entry. She didn't feel like a hero. She felt like someone who couldn't leave. Who wouldn't leave? Outside her viewport, the stars stretched into infinity. Humanity was still new, still fragile, still statistically inefficient. But now the galaxy understood something critical. Humans don't optimize survival, they optimize loyalty. Optimize. And the Union would spend the next century learning what that meant. Because when someone needs help, humans go back into the fire.